All right, we're winging it here today because I don't think if I don't go live right now, there's a chance I don't make it today, and I have a very small window to get it done. I'm actually headed to Murrells Inlet in a few moments to meet up with my dad, his girlfriend Jennifer, and Paul Mead. Today was a pretty event-filled day. I could have had a nice meal, but I kind of ran late. So, unfortunately, I'm just making myself a quick bite so that when I get out there, I don't have to eat food at the bar and just be kind of awkward. I'm making my famous friggin' ham, egg, and cheese because that's basically all I make nowadays. But no, I don't know, I'm just craving it and it's easy and quick. So that's what I'm making. Let's see, I'll start kind of backwards, I guess. I got out the car and lost a little bit of time because my neighbor next door, shout out Mario, having some people over, some good buddies. TJ's a good dude. His girlfriend Casey, and then Mario's brother's there, and actually some other guy I didn't get the name. My other neighbor, Kevin, actually stopped by as well. He's the Myrtle Beach football coach, good dude. So I got to chat with him a little bit and, kind of tell him about what I'm up to. What I'm excited about is, just put butter in there and almost burned myself. But what was good was I got to practice my stand-up. Oh, God, there's way too much butter. Get out. Oh no, I gotta get a fork. Got to practice my stand-up and I'm getting a couple laughs. So I think by tomorrow, there's a chance that I don't totally bomb and that I actually come up with some good jokes, which would be awesome because don't want to bomb. There is a slight hiccup that there may be young kids there. So if that's the case, I'm going to have like a lineup of about like 2 minutes worth of like any age appropriate joke. And the way that I buy or save myself is just saying, like, I throw my cards back at me and like, well, I guess I'm Ronald McDonald for the day with all these kids. It's not their fault. I mean, it's basically like a bookstore. So I do expect there possibly to be kids. But I'm going to try to get as raunchy as I humanly can without totally offending people. And, so there's that. Now working back one more level. So like I said, I'm just working backwards through my day. So I just got back prior to that when I pulled up and saw Mario. I was at an audition for a comedy play. So the play is called The Doctor in Spite of Himself. And so it's a comedy kind of about a doctor, or not a doctor, he's a woodcutter. And his wife and him are having troubles. And then she tries to tell people that he's like a doctor. I don't know if she's trying to kill him or not. Something I definitely need to get clear. But so she sends him kind of after him. He mistakenly is mistaken for a doctor, and then he saves some lady who's sick. And like it says, it's kind of in spite of himself. Like, even though he has no idea what he's doing, he actually gets lucky. And called in, and it's gonna mess everything up. Hold on, I don't even know if I can text her right now, but hopefully she doesn't just keep calling me nonstop because that would not be cool. All right. So in the audition, and now I hope my volume store, I know Facebook still got me, but in the audition, absolutely nailed it. So I had like read the script a little bit and it was very lucky. It was actually the first scene that we went over. And so that was probably the one I read the most and the only scene I read. And it's basically just like the main character and his wife fighting. Eventually a neighbor comes in and says like, don't beat your wife. And then the wife kind of chimes in and is like, well, who are you to say what my husband does to me? What if I like being beaten? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. We didn't actually get to that part, but it's a very funny part where the husband and the wife are fighting at the beginning. And I'm going to shout out my sister, Michaela, because she kind of taught me it's not always about what you say, but it's like how you say it. And I know that sounds like stupid and obvious, but sometimes even though you're saying one word, like if you're like, oh, you know everything, or, oh, you know everything, like, the words are the same, but the meaning is very different, right? And so I was just doing my best to really like think about what the character meant when it was when they're talking and each line delivered. And I think I nailed it. I had the guy laughing a few times, which was good. He played it cool and was kind of like, oh yeah, we'll talk to you. I'll let you know like about the parts or like if you make it or not. He's like, I'm usually pretty open about whether, you're cast. He's like, I don't like to play games. And when I'm walking out, one of the ladies who's his regular there actually said like, oh, you'll no doubt get a call. So even if I don't get a big part, I'm pretty confident that I'm getting cast, which is cool because it's the first play I've done since 7th grade. And really like my only real play that's, you know, not just a middle school performance. So pretty interesting there, no doubt. Sorry, just realized I have to put the ham in. Shake it all up. But yeah, so I mean, it was a good reading. I felt really good. I was delivering lines left and right. Just really felt like I was able to look away from the screen pretty often. Or not screen, away from the script. And still deliver it with, like, you know, good meaning and stuff like that. So that was very cool. And it was a privilege to be there and kind of try it out. Part of the reason I'm doing this is to hopefully kind of get to work with actors and maybe potentially, you know, eventually use some of my own writing and film something or work with directors. So just getting into that space and putting myself out there. It's probably all I need to say about that. You'll probably hear about it like a million times. The performance is in March, so everyone who wants to see it, come on down. You know, you're more than welcome. Buy a ticket. I think it's March 21st through 24th, something like that. I'm not in the play yet, so don't buy your tickets yet, but I should know some point next week. The other thing that's good, and this is kind of skipping ahead, I know I said to go backwards, but last night we went to Neil and Pam's, and you know, they just kind of gave me the heads up that they're going to be giving us a call next week, and then training starts, and so it definitely sounds like I have the job, which would be awesome. If there's an interview process, great. More than happy to take that on. But really excited to be either like a server or bartender, and so when I kind of get that job at Neil's Creek House, I hope you guys can come join me. Geez, I feel like I'm on like crack. I swear I'm on no drugs right now. Just kind of fired out of a cannon. I'm running a little bit late, like I said, so I'm just making some food so that I don't have to eat when I'm there, which is gonna be good. So going further back, let's see. I was on the phone with one of my clients who, you know, no fault of his own, has just been kind of slow, not really sure like how aggressive he wants to go, whether he's ready to invest or not. He's really waiting on the right place. But if you're really hesitant, like, chances are you're not going to buy anything because you're just waiting for that perfect property. Not saying like you're not going to find the perfect property, but you have to have some like, unless your budget is unlimited, right? Like, good luck finding the perfect place. Everyone wants, you know, 5 bedrooms, 6, you know, not 6 baths, but like 3 baths, 2 floors, beautiful home for under $200,000. But you're not always going to get that, right? So the key is being within your means and being reasonable. And the fact that he set a date, he basically wants to buy something by the end of April, now you can work with that. You know what I mean? There's a lot more to work with. It's a lot easier to kind of figure out what you got to do. So really excited about that. That's promising. As I mentioned, one of my other buddies is kind of looking into investing with me, which would be great. Quick update on yesterday. I talked to my life insurance guy. You know, he's hesitant, kind of telling me not to cancel the policy, yada, yada, yada. I told him I probably want to just go into a term policy. So anyways, long story short, I basically paid like $20,000 into the product, and it's only worth $3,000, which is really kind of depressing. Or no, not $3,000, sorry, $13,000. So about a loss of like $8,000. But I was purchasing the policy, right? So like some of the money up front is kind of like a loan where you're paying interest over principal. So I was actually like putting money towards the plan. And so that kind of takes away the $8,000. But I'm like, if I can get $1,200 or $12,000 back right now, I would love that. So that is something I'm looking into for sure. And then, yeah, so that's the update on life insurance. Going back one step further, oh, this actually is a hilarious story. And there's no way I do it justice on this quick call. But I get a call from Timmy D because I'm just like coming back from my open house. And he's like, oh, you got to come down to King Street Grill. You know, me and Pauly are here. There's some girls. He's talking about like Pauly flirting with these girls. He's like, oh, you got to see it, man. They're hilarious, like whatever. You know. So I head out there. I see them. The second I walk in, they're all on one. They've been drinking since freaking noon. And it's freaking like 5 o'clock, mind you. So good 5 hours of drinking they did. And, you know, these girls are nice. Some of them are from Chicago, some from New York. They actually met on Bumble BFF, which never ever met anyone that met off Bumble BFF. This was the first. So it was interesting, no doubt. They were cool. Right off the bat, I got this one lady's name, Susan. Like, I got all their names, and I just said hi to them real quick. And Susan comes up. She's this fucking ex-cop from New York, Syracuse. how the fuck do you know my name? How do you know my... It sounded like she's from Boston. And I'm just like, I don't. They just gave me the name. Like, literally, I just got the name a second before. And she's, like, ready to take me out. But she was actually very nice. She was just funny. And she became, like, a decent friend. They were shit-faced. Like, the whole bar, everything they say, the whole bar is just, like, looking. Long story longer. My neighbor was there. Gave him a little wave. I actually saw him after. He went over Mario's house. So I had a good talk with him. But that's the Myrtle football coach, like I mentioned earlier. But yeah, so it was just hilarious because even after the fact when I'm talking to him about it, I'm like, were they just so loud before I even got there? He's like, oh, you have no idea. I was like, I think I have a slight idea, but I can imagine that it was pretty bad. So yeah, that in itself is funny. I'm not going to go too much into detail on that one just because limited time and I'm about to start eating. But the last thing I will say is just, I did a lot of stuff early in the morning, posting, yada, 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 had that open house, right? And so the open house went really well, actually. I was expecting no one to show up. We had like 2 people show up, some neighbors look at it, which is always good. I actually might have a potential buyer, someone that moved to Florida and maybe moving back sometime in the future. So that was good to see the place. I also realized I have a little bit of a, not weakness, but a gap in my knowledge around like luxury homes. And so I'd love to see a lot more of these homes that are in the 600,000 plus range that aren't necessarily right on the beach or investment properties. Like it's really places people want to live for themselves. So they don't really care as much about short-term rentals. And, people don't like huge HOAs, which is nice, but you do want amenities and stuff like that. This place was fenced in, which was really cool. One of them was priced high at $650. The other one was $675, but had a lot more square footage. I'd like to see it go closer to $640 and the other one maybe like $580. Both great places. But I want to shout out Nancy Patrick. She did did an absolutely phenomenal job. Like she was so on point with the buyers that were actually without an agent. And so we're going to kind of 50-50 split it together. Neither of us have teams. Like I said, we're in like an accountability mastermind group. So it was great to work together. It was a pleasure. We had a great heart-to-heart during some of the downtime. We're just talking about our lives, talking about past. We have a lot in common, stuff like that. Just certain things that we clicked on, which was awesome, getting to bond with her. And then, yeah, she was like A game because she recently bought a place in the area in that price range. So she was very well knowledge. She knew all of the neighborhoods. She knew builders. She knew models even. And so when these people, and they're from Detroit, I was the people person schmoozing on Detroit Lions. But yeah, like she was great. So Nancy Patrick, if you're listening to this, if you see this later, big shout out to you. I think like you deserve way more confidence than you give yourself. Like you are so great. You're going to do so well. She's like talking me up and I'm like, I want to do more open houses with her, especially in that price range because she was just on her game. And so on that note, I'm going to try to eat this food as fast as I can, scoff it down. And I hope you guys all have a great night. It's Saturday night. Maybe I'll post a little bit more because I'm going to be sober down at Dead Dog in Myrtle's Inlet. If you're in the area, definitely check it out. We got a live band. You got the whole Marsh Walk there. And so wish me luck tomorrow. I'm sure hopefully you'll see me before the comedy thing, but I really don't know. And so appreciate it. Good time to end. 13 minutes in, probably longer than I should have went. Peace out. Deuces. Have a good night. Ending the Facebook, ending the Instagram. Shmee.